Kavianpour.
Okay. Oh, we're live. What's up, ninjas? What's up, ninjas? Welcome to another Being a Ninja show. We are live with Kiana Okay, I always butcher Kavianpour.
Sure.
Kavianpour. Is that
Kavian. You say Kavianpour.
Kavianpour? She is a fellow coach here at Fight Fit. She has been for the past few years when she is back from school, but she's actually done school now. So she's, I think she's at it full, available now, I wouldn't say full time, but now available in Toronto or Markham to coach. Kiana, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's take it back. I want to go back to when you first started, because you've got a pretty good history in sport yourself. But how did you get involved in fitness yourself?
Well, I'm an ex-gymnast for people who don't know. So that's all I did, really. A little bit of soccer here, a little bit of karate, but gymnastics really takes up a lot of your time. And I really love gym. But then you get to a point where if you're not going any further, you're kind of plateauing. So then I transitioned to coaching. I did that for a long time. Well, long time. Let's say 6-7 years. And then eventually, it was really mostly working with kids. And then I kind of I decided I can't do this forever. Some people do coach. They do career coaching. That's what they want to do for the rest of their life. But I didn't see myself staying in the gymnastics world. So then I think in my second year, I got my fitness instructor license because I thought I would move to group fitness coaching and work at like Milwaukee or Good Life or work at school, that kind of thing. And then the summer after my second year, I came back home after I had gotten that license, and I found that there's this studio in Stouffville that wasn't too far from me that was looking for instructors, and I'm pretty sure it said no kickboxing experience needed, we will train you. So that was obviously really appealing. I had a little bit of karate under my belt, but nothing no actual kickboxing experience. So then I sent in an application. Jody interviewed me, and then I started my internship. I think it was supposed to be a couple months, but because it was halfway through the summer at that point, and I was going to go back to school, which kind of rushed to get through all the onboarding and the intern. I was shadowing as many classes as I could, learning from everyone, mostly in Stouffville. And then that year I came back on holidays and stuff, and I would take the Thanksgiving class or this family long weekend class because I happened to be back home and everybody else wants the day off, right? So yeah, so this is really my first, I don't have a lot of the other coaches have all this crazy experience and years in the fitness industry, but Fight Fit is really my start a couple years ago, and then hopefully we'll be here for a while. I'm really enjoying it.
It's awesome. And I think you kind of give yourself a little bit more credit because I think you working with kids. Did you find some parallels with you coaching kids gymnastics and adults?
Well, yeah, I think it's definitely, I think there are parallels in terms of whether you're coaching anywhere in general, you still need the energy. You still need to be to be planned, to have a plan, engaging, the kids. You would think that I guess kids need a little more engagement, but I think adults respond just as well. If you're engaged, they'll be a little bit more engaged. Also, you give them energy, they'll give you a little bit more energy. But obviously, sometimes dealing with kids is a little bit different. I find that dealing with adults, they're there because they want to be there and they want to make a change. They're here, they enjoy it. Sometimes you coach kids who don't necessarily have that drive, and they're there for an external reason. That's always a little bit tougher to deal with. But yeah, coach it either way. I love coaching. I love interacting with people. So
which one's harder to do, adults or kids?
I would say kids.
Kids.
Well, in my experience, coaching the kids in the gymnastics, I was getting to a point where I was or it might have just been that group or just that gym or whatever, and I just needed a little bit of a change of pace or a change of environment. So then if I fit just it was perfect. Yeah.
So talk to me about your gymnastics experience. How far did you eventually get into gymnastics? Were you competing at provincial or regional?
No, nothing crazy. I started like really, really young. Like my mom says, I was always um, like I just wanted, I guess, moving. All the kids who get into gymnastics just want to start moving. And I was never any good, but I was always the kid who like worked the hardest. That's what I get told. I couldn't do this skill that everybody else had for the longest time, but I would come home and try it for hours and hours on this carpet and fall and fall and fall and do it all over again. So you start when you're like 3, and then most kids, they have talent. Then by the time you're 7 or 8, they're like scouted. But I got scouted by the provincial coach, the coach who, the head coach at the gym who was doing the provincial national team. She pulled me up from like the little interclub group because I had won hardest worker from the year before. Not because I was like necessarily any good, but I think it's definitely something that like transitions into like other aspects of my life. Like I've definitely learned the value of working hard and like keeping at it and like discipline and determination and that kind of thing. So then when I was 13, I started competing provincially, which is like late by gymnastic standards. And then I went all the way until I stopped high school. So from 13 to 17, like 7, like level 8. I don't know if that doesn't really mean anything, but just within Ontario, couple championships, but never a top podium. But I was always like, yeah, I loved being in the gym and I wanted to work hard and I wanted to get new skills. And yeah.
That's amazing. You brought up something really important, like hard work beats talent every time. When talent doesn't work hard, I think that's a fault a lot of people I see in the high level sports that have so much talent, but they don't put in the work. They don't have that work ethic that follows along. They can make it so far, but without that work ethic, it's.
And as a coach, I remember like coaching some girls who I was like, I don't want to say like jealous or like envious, but I was like, you have the talent that I did not have at all, but you don't want to put in the effort, and I know you can make it here, and I know you can make it here. So I'm really like passionate about like I want to get the kids passionate, because if you're here for an external factor, you may have the talent, but you're not going to make it anywhere if you don't want to work hard. So I really want to that was definitely like a big philosophy of mine when I was coaching.
Sure.
But yeah.
And I think it shows in your classes. If anyone's been out to Kiana's classes, she's one of the highest energy coaches that we have, and it works so well in both like motivating kids, I feel, and motivating adults. Giving that energy, we call it right appreciation, positivity, enthusiasm, because that kind of stuff is people feed off of that. And when you get that energy, so what do you do to hype yourself up and get yourself at that level to teach classes at that energy level?
I want to say there's not really a hyping up process, like a pre-hyping up process needed. I definitely well, I guess I can say that because I'm still young. I haven't had like too many work experiences, but I took a break from coaching gymnastics because I had like stopped enjoying it for like certain reasons. So then I took a break, and then because it's not fair, I think, to go into a gym and not enjoy being there and giving off like a certain like energy. So I love coming to Fight Fit and coming to the gym. So already my energy is in a good place because I love working there. Like as soon as I step, I'm like, all right, yes, we are ready to go. Just play some like hype up music on my drive over, play some music before class, moving around, like get the blood flowing, start sweating before class starts. And as people start coming in, I'm like, all right, we are ready. We are ready. I'm definitely the type of person who gets energized with other people. When I'm in a crowd, my energy level tends to go up. I know some people find it draining, but my energy definitely increases the more people I'm around, which I guess is a good thing in this case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just like walking in, and I love the environment and I love working there. So that gives me all the energy I need, I think.
Awesome. Have you heard the term like how to tell if somebody's an introvert versus extrovert?
How to tell specifically?
Yeah, specifically.
No.
So an introvert recharges by themselves. Like if they get more energy when they're by themselves and not with the rest of people. But extroverts, they actually recharge with other people around.
Oh,
They need to
100%.
go around and actually get out, talk to people, and they'll feel actually more
Yeah,
energized.
and I think it's true. I think even on the off day that I'm like feeling like not 100% for some reason, um, then all of a sudden you're with the crowd. I don't know if it's just because you forget about it or it's just other people's like energies and auras or whatever it is that just bring the energy up. So yeah, I definitely believe that. I think.
Nice, nice. So for gymnastics, I mean, you're competing at a high level. I mean, would you say that there was like, was it physically demanding on you with all that training?
I would say, especially towards the end. I guess by the end of it, like I guess I was very fortunate. Knock on wood. I didn't have too many injuries like throughout. I want to attribute that to the fact that I started late. I didn't start competing like or training provincially like 16, 20 hours a week until I was 13. Some kids start that when they're 7 or 8. So me starting at 13, and then by the time I got to like 16, 17, I was having like patella issues, and I had like sprained my ankle a couple times, and I had to always wear a brace. And I guess my back was sore, but like like every gymnast. But that didn't really start like hindering my training until I was 16, 17. And then, but it's an overuse thing, and I knew it was an overuse thing because within a year of me quitting, I stopped having those problems. My knees weren't bothering me anymore. My ankle, I guess I got to work more. I focused more on like my ankle rehab, but my ankles weren't bothering me anymore. Same with my back, work on a little bit of glute strength and core, more focused, and then my back wasn't bothering me anymore. But I guess I was lucky, but I would definitely say it definitely takes a bit of a toll physically.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's not just like 3 times a week. It's pretty heavy, the training.
Yeah.
So you could definitely relate to what the clients go through when you're kind of getting them to do squats, burpees, and all that.
Yeah, I know.
So you actually enjoyed, I'm assuming, the physicality of gymnastics so much that you actually went to school for something similar, right?
Oh yeah. So I can't even tell you why I went into kinesiology, but I guess a part of it was definitely being in gymnastics, and then yeah, sports, active movement. But that I think I developed like a passion or a love for movement and sports and exercise long term throughout my degree. Whereas I started my degree thinking rehab, 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 because I had been surrounded by kids who are always injured. Oh, there's always braces. Oh, this kid can't do this event today because her wrist is sore. She's going to do something else. So I was always surrounded that. I never had to really see a physiotherapist, but everybody else did. So I was like, hey, if I can go into kinesiology and then maybe do like a master's or something and helps kids continue in their sport, that would be super cool. But then somewhere along the way, like throughout the degree, it changed to like, let's use exercise, like more like exercise to help people like live longer. Let's say I'm more interested in like chronic disease prevention or management with exercise and with activity rather than rehabilitation, like after it's too late. But yeah, I guess definitely being an athlete, I guess growing up affected my my choice, and I had to go do something sports. The kids are like the jocks. They talk to people. It's always interaction. It's not all like book. So yeah, that was definitely appealing. For sure.
Where did you go again?
I went to Western.
Western.
So I was fortunate enough to have the means to go away and live away from home. So yeah, I went to Western.
Western. And you're finished now.
Yeah, I just graduated like 2 weeks ago. Woo!
How's it feel?
I mean, obviously not the ending that we were all expecting, I think, but did I really want to sit through a 5-hour graduation ceremony? Not really. But yeah, I mean, it feels, it's just, we're just move on to the next bigger, better things.
So
I don't know.
let's go through like the 4 years. You said that you've actually developed a more passion for helping people with chronic diseases through your undergrad. Was there a particular reason why? Was there a specific course that got you to think this way?
Yeah, I think in my 3rd year, at the start of my third year, I took two courses. It was exercising for chronic diseases and exercise for the aging population, but they were very similar. And it just really went into like a lot of case studies about, hey, this cohort, this population had this surgery, or they all have this issue or this risk factor. And they went through like a training program for like 8 to 12 weeks, and they came out and all these symptoms had decreased, or they were more likely to do this or this. And I thought that was, I don't know, I think that was something that wasn't touched on that much in my first and second year. It's really all anatomy, physiology. What is this? What is this? What is this? And then it's like, hey, here's what you can actually do with exercise. Here's how you can get someone to exercise more. Here's how you can change someone's behavior to implement better habits, to get them more active, more on their feet, whether it's more steps or anything, which will have these amazing long-term effects. And I think that's not something that was really touched, that I had really ever heard of or thought of before I started. But once this whole new world was like presented to me, I was like, oh yeah, okay. Like exercise for long-term or physical activity for long-term gains. That's something I could get into.
That's awesome. You kind of, it's a similar route that I took. Like when I did my undergrad too, I wanted to get into physio or some type of rehabilitation, because
kids do when they start out.
yeah, I was always injured, so why would I not learn how to fix myself? Competition. But I found, like, very similar to you, like my passion was in helping people that want to get motivated and move. And I feed off of other people too. And then when I see people moving, like in the gym and everything, I'm like, I get fired up. And I've worked in the clinical side of things where you have people that don't really want to be there. It's kind of similar case where you have kids that don't really want to train because their parents force them to do it, and they're kind of just going through the motions. And that's maybe, that's where
yeah, sorry. You finish?
Oh no, I was gonna say that's where I like that. That's why I moved towards getting into the fitness side of things.
For sure, that's definitely rough to do. Like, I've had my fair share of clinical experience, and people come in. You need to do your exercises at home if you want to get better. Did you do them? No.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like it's thinking like day by day kind of thing, instead of like let's be active now and like develop healthy habits that in 10, 20 years from now, you don't even have to worry about it anymore, and you'll be in tip-top shape because you did the base steps. But it's never too late to start. Don't think that just because you feel like you've passed that stage that, oh, I can't do it now. No, there will always be health benefits to starting to be active. For sure.
What's that saying? It's the best time to plant a tree is like 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. So still, you can have time to plant that tree. So let's talk about this journey now. You, while in school, you found Fight Fit. You started working with us. Started to love it, I hope. I didn't pay you to say. Right. I think you love it. What are some of your biggest takeaways from working with clients? Now that you have a good opportunity, I mean, I know we're only working with clients when you were in town, but what were some of your learnings from working with clients in that group fitness environment?
Off the top of my head, it's definitely like how much like a sense of community can help people when it comes to doing like anything new or anything like remotely challenging. And it's something that I wish was applied to, let's say clinical experience that I have, and people come in and they don't want to do this exercise, they don't want to do the therapy, but you don't have that, they don't have like a sense of community there. You're there, you're by yourself. But like at Fight Fit, like there's so much, like everything is like personalized, and like the emphasis on names and knowing people and asking how you're doing and tailoring exercise and that kind of thing. I really noticed the value and how it like obviously like it translates. I think everyone loves coming to work out. Everybody loves the Fight Fit workouts. They love the Fight Fit experience, for sure. So definitely that sense of community, and not only I guess in the gym, but like you're very active on social media, which is definitely something I need to work on. But that even so, not only when you're in the gym you have that, but you have a source of support outside of the gym and somewhere to go if you have questions, and not only the coaches, but all of your like fellow ninjas as well. You can ask anybody. Anyone will answer a question if they can. So I think that's probably one of the biggest takeaways, that if you want, like, just implementing like a sense of community and telling everyone that you're all in this together, that will help people. That just helps people in general.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think humans, we're pack animals, so that we do better in packs, in groups, for sure. So, before we get into some client questions that we're going to answer, I want to ask you one more thing. You said, when you graduate, on to bigger and better things. What is some long-term goals of yours, either career-wise, what are some long-term goals now for you?
Okay, like long term. Like if I'm being completely honest, like long term, I would love to be like teaching, but whether that's like I guess it would be like in a university setting, about like what I learned in university, but like here's how exercise can help people. Like I would love to like pass on like that knowledge to other people and get people again in this field and in this line of work, because I think it's only growing, the aging population and all that stuff. Like I definitely think activity and exercise and that kind of thing, and the benefits and how to teach it and how to implement and changing behavior and that kind of thing, I would love to like pass that on. Bigger and better things, like I have, just like exercise, just using, just like using exercise to like help people, whatever condition they have, like whether it's like you just want to get stronger or lose weight, but also you want to use it more specifically to manage like your diabetes, or you want to use it to manage heart condition, or this. So I would like to become very knowledgeable and know about all of this and being able to like help people like with their like specific things. But that's a long term. That's a way away. I got a lot of learning to do before I get there.
So it sounds like getting into deeper, maybe working with aging populations and chronic diseases and using exercise is really what the long-term vision of where you want to go with that. Very cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that with me. We're going to answer some questions, client questions, burning questions that clients have posted. First one I got is, how do I maintain this long term? And maybe what they meant by how do I maintain this long term is, how do I maintain a fitness and nutrition program long term?
I recommend that would all be like habits. I think you have to implement new habits, but until the point where it's just like it's like second nature, and people will, and it's all like behavior change, right? Like you're changing your behavior, and I guess we did talk a little bit about that in school, and different methods will work for different people. But when you're first starting out, you have to be super, super diligent and like not skip a day, whatever it is you're trying to do, or don't give yourself that little edge, or like a day off, for example, as much as you can, especially in the start. If you're trying to walk more, like I respond really well to like things on paper. So if I'm trying to run every day, for example, or run 3 times a week, 4 times a week, I'll put a big calendar piece of paper and I'll just put green check marks on the days that I do it or that I stick to it, because then it gives me the opportunity to go back and look at my progress and what's been working, what hasn't been working. But also I have that validation, the physical validation that's right there, and it feels good to put that check mark. So after a month of, let's say, putting the check marks in, that's like I would say that's a habit. That's something that I wouldn't need to think about anymore, and it'll stay. And it also goes back to make sure it's something that you like, / like you don't have to get pulled, dragged out of bed to do. If it is, not that it's not valuable. Well, this is just my opinion. Not that it's not valuable, but it's so hard. It's so hard to maintain a habit that you really is just, it doesn't work for your schedule. It doesn't make you feel good. It hurts. Even if you know how good it is for you, there's always an alternative for you to find that will be more enjoyable and easier for you to implement, so that you can actually keep it long term. Yeah. So I guess it would definitely be make sure it's something that is feasible for you, and be super, super diligent at the start so that eventually, and have a way to track it, I guess, so that in the long term, you don't even have to like think about it.
Good. I love it. Good. Habits. The route I like to go with this, Kiana, is I want to, when I think about maintenance, I think about mini goals. Like I find especially like a lot of the a lot of the women clients, particularly, it starts off with weight, but then there isn't really, once you hit the weight that you want, there isn't really much more. I mean, definition, yes, there's certain things that we could do, but I feel like mini goals of performance goals should be something that you start thinking about, and then that you should always have new goals set. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I want to lose, I want to lose this body fat, but it could be doing something like, I want to do 5 pull-ups.
Yeah.
I want to be able to deadlift 2.5.
You need the numbers. It needs to be quantifiable. That's important.
Smart. Specific measurable goals. And I think shifting our mindset in terms of like a weight goal more to a performance goal will help you make this like long term, because I love tracking that stuff. Like, I was talking to a client about this. Like, you don't necessarily have to get more restrictive to get better results. You just got to be more accurate. Because once you're more accurate, then you're able to get even better results, because you're able to see those little quantifiable differences. I think that would be my way to go about this. If you want to maintain it, set a performance goal rather than a weight goal.
I think I definitely agree with that. I think especially in the long term. I guess at the start, if you want to lose some weight, that's fine. But in the long term, what's going to keep people moving and like not like give up once they've lost the weight that they wanted, activity is always good for you. Exercise is always good for you, even if you lost those extra pounds that you wanted to get rid of. So yeah, setting those, I think that's a very good point with the quantifiable goals.
Smart. Here's another question. Can I eat whatever I want after the challenge?
I mean, I would say you can do whatever you want in life. Maybe not whatever, but you can do whatever you want. However tempting that may be, and I found that like after the challenge, I found myself enjoying like the smaller things. I didn't want to eat everything. I wanted to go back to putting a little bit of cheese in my salad, for example, or I wanted to go back to having an extra cup of rice at the end, or a little bit, like those small things. I don't think your system will appreciate, your body won't feel too great after being super like specific and count, or just after doing the challenge, let's say, and then putting whatever you want and everything that you want into your body. And you've done such a good job at like developing those habits, those good habits throughout the challenge, whether it's those eating habits, or you're weighing your food, or you're being careful here, you're counting calories here. And just, like, I don't know if it's the right thing to say that it's like a slippery slope once you decide that, oh, I'm done the challenge, now I can go back to doing everything that I was doing before. I think it'll be hard to go back to those good habits that you had like developed over the course of the challenge. So I would say try your best to hold off and not eat whatever you want, and give yourself like a little reward here and a little reward here, but really trying to keep those, again, like those eating habits that you had developed.
Oh, you said it. It's a slippery slope. I think that this goes with anything. It's a slippery slope when you cut out something in your life and you reintroduce it. And then, especially, I hear of one of the most things I hear from clients, oh, I need a glass of wine every night. And it's just like, do you really need it? And then when we actually eliminate it from their diet, they're like, realistically, I don't actually need a glass of wine. Yeah. Like, everybody feels like they need, like, we hold on to these things that we almost identify with, like, I need to have coffee with sugar and cream. Mm-hmm. I need to have a glass of wine to unwind at night. And I think we just don't realize how little we actually need until we actually eliminate it. So to answer the question, can you have anything you want? I would say no, but give yourself, like Kiana said, those little treats. I do believe in cheat meals. And I wouldn't say a cheat because nothing worth, no relationship worth having is worth cheating on. But, you plan a meal where you are having the thing that you really want and eat like an adult. Kids, they'll see a chocolate in front of them and eat it. We're adults here. Adults plan and say, you know what, I'm going to have that on this date. I'm going to have it this Saturday because I'm going to be working hard. Plus, I'm going to make sure I got a workout in that day, so it'll offset the extra calories I had. So adults plan.
For sure.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
A lot of value in that, for sure.
Yeah.
Like an adult. I like that. I'm going to start using that.
Yeah. Last question, and I think it goes along the lines of our last one, but how do you deal with celebration meals and weekends?
How do I deal? Well, I guess this last challenge, I haven't really been going anywhere. I've just been at home, so I've had the luxury of just making my own food if needed, and so I can still eat with the rest of the family. I would like being prepared. I think ahead of time is the best way to do it. Like, you have to go in telling yourself, or like even like what helps me would be like, if I know I'm going to, if I were to go to somewhere, I would probably message and ask, is there going to be food there? Because if I show up and I'm even a little bit hungry, it's going to be so much harder to prevent myself from eating or taking this drink or doing this or this. So I have to go full. I can bring my own, or I can bring a snack for myself, like let's say potluck style. I'll bring someone to someone's house, but it's something that I can eat that is, let's say, challenge friendly. That way I still feel like I'm part of the group and I'm still taking from the food table, but it's the food that I brought. In general, like if I were to go to someone's house and they're making dinner, then I'd offer like, can I make a salad? And I'll bring you a salad so that everyone's having, let's say, carb, and I'll have like a salad with mine. But then the salad is there for everyone. So again, you don't want to, I think it's harder if you like single yourself out and you're the only one who eats like this and you have to bring your own meal. I think it's easier to, and I guess it depends on your relationship with your friends and family members and that kind of thing. But if you're able to integrate it into the meal that everybody else will be eating, it's less like self-control in my head on my part.
Yeah. I love that tip. Bring your own salad and then you bring it for everybody to eat. That'd be total. And then that way you feel more part of the group. That is an awesome tip. I think it goes back similar vein of what we were talking about before about planning. That, like you said, preparation is super important. Going there knowing that going to a party hungry is probably one of the worst things.
Yeah, not a good idea.
It is, and I've heard it happen time and time again because you're busy with your day and you don't plan and you're like, I gotta go to this dinner after, and then you're starving, and then you kind of just maybe have a drink and then everything gets thrown out the window. So like definitely plan.
And then slippery slope, right? And then
exactly. Then you don't realize how quickly those calories start to add up. One other tip I like to do is soda water is like the secret to everything, because A, it keeps you hydrated, and 2, keeps you satiated. I feel a lot more because of the extra gas. And 3, if you have a cup of soda water with a lime on it looks like you have a drink. So when people have
no one offers you anything.
So always have like a cup, a soda water in there, and then so that's always with you. And then that way you have something, you're always sipping on something, so you're still enjoying and you're still socializing. I think that's a really good way around it. So it's awesome. All right, here's my final question for you, Ken. I ask this for every single time, is that if you had a favorite movie of all time, what would it be and why? It doesn't have to be kung fu or action. It could be any movie at all. What would it be and why?
I wish I could give you a kung fu movie. That'd be super cool. But Kung Fu Panda is the only one that I can think of. Yeah, my favorite movie, and I'm not a huge movie person, I will say. I'm not the person who's seen all the classics or will go and has a list of movies they have to watch. Like I won't watch a movie by myself. But the movie that I will go back to and watch time and time again is How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh.
And I don't know what it is. Like and obviously it's like the story of like the underdog who doesn't want to do what the rest of his dad expects of him. He goes and he finds his own passion and he hones his craft, and then he starts teaching other people. And there are dragons. Like, come on, there are dragons. That's just ultimate. I don't know what it is. Like, I will watch that movie and it makes me feel so good and like happy and content, and you just sit down for an hour and a half and forget about real life, and you're immersed in this animation world with dragons. Yeah, I'm a bit of a child. That's my child side, I guess. But I will go back to that movie over and over again.
Anything with dragons. Hey, we call our team dragons. So
exactly.
come on.
It's appropriate. It's appropriate.
Everybody wants to be a dragon. That stuff is cool. They can blow fire, they can fly.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I think it was meant to be.
Love it. My kids love that movie too, Kiana. My kids love that movie too. If people want to reach out to you, learn more about you, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Probably through Facebook. I think there's nothing else really that I'm using, but like I guess Facebook is probably what I'm most active on. I don't think there's a card anywhere, or my email's on the website. I don't know, but yeah,
we'll get you one. We'll get you one.
And then I don't know, Trainer Eyes. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
or message Joe and he'll get you in contact with me, and we'll find something that works for the two of us.
Awesome, Kiana. Thank you so much for being on the show again and sharing your secrets on health, wealth, and being kick butt. Kiana, thank you.
Thank you for having me.